Okay, so this next one, again, I would still look at all four terms to find a common factor. There's nothing that could divide into all four of these. So if I look at that second row in the note sheet, this would fit into the polynomials with four terms, the factoring by grouping. These two terms have x in it. The lower power of x is squared. So this first group, that x squared that I'm dividing them both by, that's what goes in front of the parentheses, whatever you divide them both by. Then x cubed divided by x squared is x. 2x squared divided by x squared is 2. Bring down that minus sign. What could we divide both of these by? 4. But we have that negative there, so I divide both by negative 4, and I get x plus 2. So again, inside the parentheses, I have the same thing. I'm going to write it once. Then the two terms in front of the parentheses, x squared minus 4, are the two terms in the second parenthesis. Do you notice something? X squared minus 4 is a difference of two perfect squares. So the x plus 2 comes down. And then I'm going to do the difference of two perfect squares. So I'm getting the square root of both of them. And I'm going to bring down x plus 2 times x minus 2 for the difference of two perfect squares. Do not talk. That's my son. Okay, again, all four of these terms have nothing I could divide them all by. Okay, but the four terms, so this is going to be another factoring by grouping. Okay, what could I divide these two terms by? The 4 and 12 could both be divided by 4. They both have x in it. The lower power of x is x squared. So that 4x squared that I'm dividing them both by is going to go in front of the first set of parentheses. Then I divide. 4x cubed divided by 4x squared is x. Minus 12x squared divided by 4x squared. The x squareds cancel. I get 3. The first group is always going to have variables in the GCF. The second group, there's never going to be variables that you could divide by. Bring down the minus sign. What could I divide by here? Again, not a variable, just a number. I could divide them both by 9. So 9 I'm going to write first, and then inside the parentheses, I have to divide them both by negative 9 because of that minus sign that came down. I get x minus 3. Again, inside the parentheses, same thing. So I bring down the x minus 3. In front of both parentheses, 4x squared minus 9. And again, after factoring by grouping, we have a difference of two perfect squares. So when you're doing the practice sheet with the 6 examples, they're going to be similar. Follow what we're doing here. Bring down the x minus 3. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. A lot of you keep forgetting to get the square root of the coefficient. The square root of the 4 is 2, and then the square root of x squared is x. Square root of 9 is 3, so I get 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. And this is my final answer. So in the first two, I did add, multiply, and then difference of two perfect squares. In the second two, I did factor by grouping and then difference of two perfect squares.